you, Hilary. Thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be here. So, as always, we begin by centering ourselves because we probably had a very busy earlier part of the day, may need a lot of things to do later in the day, but now is a time just for you to focus on your body, your breath, your practice. So we allow the eyes to close. Let your feet be flat on the floor. Let yourself sit and feel yourself seated. Beginning to notice the breath, beginning to notice sensations in your body, particularly any place that might be holding on to a little bit of tension or some tightness or some discomfort. Just noticing what's there. Becoming aware also of your thoughts and emotions, and knowing that whoever you are in this moment is 100% welcome. You don't need to change in any way. Feeling the sensation of breath coming in and breath going out. The breath is happening moment to moment to moment. And we let our thoughts rest in that breath. Beginning to let your breath expand now so that it begins deep down in the belly and floats upward through your chest all the way to your shoulders. And as you exhale, releasing the breath from the shoulders, the chest, and finally the belly. Breathing in, filling the body. Breathing out, letting it go completely. You can even pull your belly back a little bit towards the spine at the end of the exhale. Breathing in and breathing out. And you may wish at this time to set an intention for your practice. Letting your intention be perhaps to be as fully present as you can, moment by moment, in each breath and in each posture. And perhaps also setting an intention to be kind to yourself, to be gentle, to be compassionate. And with the next exhale, let that technique go and just allow your natural breath to come back. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. Good, and opening your eyes if they're closed, sweeping your arms up as you breathe in, and letting the arms float down as you breathe out. You can also look up at your hands as you breathe in, and allow your chin to float towards your chest as you breathe out. Just a simple movement changed so much when you are fully present and fully connected with your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. So this time, as your hands lift, allow them to stay lifted. pressing up through your fingertips, but relaxing your shoulders down your body. Now, if your shoulders are really tight, it might be that you are more comfortable just by separating your hands a little bit. Seated mountain. Breathing in and breathing out. So I'm going to take a hold of my right wrist with my left hand and just gently guide myself over to the left. Feel that nice stretch in your side body. Breathe in. Bring it back to center and switch sides. Just gently stretch. Oh, and always feeling free to let out any sounds, any sighs, any noises that help your body relax. And then bringing that back to center, I'm going to interlace my fingers now and press the palms up towards the ceiling. Again, shoulders away from the ears. And we'll just sweep from side to side. Sweeping to the right, sweeping to the left. A couple more times. And when next you come over to the right, just pause there, maybe press a little further, making sure both of your sitting bones are firmly grounded on your chair. Breathing back to center, pressing the ceiling away, and then arching to the left. Nice deep breaths. Feet on the floor, breathing into the side body. Good. And then bring the hands to the front, push the wall away, tuck your chin, round your spine. And then inhale, lift the arms back up again, and maybe create a little back bend. And then exhale, press the wall away, tuck your chin. Great, inhale, lift up, reach back. And once more, pressing forward, rounding the spine, tucking the chin. And inhale, one more lift, open wide. Good, and bring it back to center. Now I'm going to change the clasp of my hands so that my fingers are locked together. And throughout the next series of movements, keep the tension between your fingers as if you're trying to pull your hands apart. So here we go, breathe in and gently twist to the right. Bring it back to center as you breathe in and exhale to the left. Keeping the tension between the fingers, breathing back to center. Going to the right. And back to center. And to the left. And back to center. Let's do that once more from side to side. Good, deep breath in and let it go as you twist. And back to center. Gently release your hands and take a breath. So we'll go through the 6 movements of the spine now, beginning with the dog and the cat. So making sure your feet are flat on the floor, that there's some space between your back and the back of the chair. On an inhale, allow the chest to come forward. Head looks up, shoulder blades back. And then on an exhale, tucking your chin, rounding your spine. Angry cat. Inhaling into dog. Exhaling into cat. A couple more times, breathing into dog. And exhaling into cat. Working all around the spine and bringing it back to center. So we'll go into our twist now. We'll start with the right arm. And we always begin by creating length and strength in the arm. So imagine that the muscles can wrap around the bones, nice and tight. Breathe in, exhale, bring that palm to your left knee, left hand to the side of your chair. Growing tall as you breathe in, and floating the shoulder back as you breathe out. To deepen the twist, if you like, you can take the left leg over the right. Staying with each and every breath. Let's take one more breath here. And then on an inhale, guide yourself back and uncross. And we'll go to the other side. Left arm stretches out. Again, make sure there's lots of active muscle use in that arm. Palm comes to the right knee, right hand to the side of your chair. Lengthen on an in-breath and twist on the out-breath. Take good care with your neck. Think about keeping the chin lined up with the center of your chest. You don't want to overextend the neck. Right leg can cross over the left if you like. One more breath here. And then bring it back to center. So the last two of the 6 movements are threading the needle. And we'll start with the right arm. Again, stretching it out, sliding it along your left thigh. So this may be as far as your body wants to go today, and that's absolutely fine. Or you may want to lean forward, adding a little intensity to the stretch. And another option is to take the left arm and allow it to sweep up to the ceiling. Always make sure your neck is relaxed. One more breath. And on an exhale, let's come up. And go to the other side. Left arm stretches out. Slide it along that right thigh. Asking yourself as you move into the posture, what feels perfect for me today? What's just enough? Head is relaxed, neck is relaxed. So let's release that now on an inhale, coming up and back to sit. So know that as we're going through the practice, if I'm staying in a pose that's too long a hold for you, you always have complete and total permission to release the pose and just rest and breathe. Never a problem with that. Remember, be kind. So let's do a couple of sun salutations. It's turned into summer here in the Northeast, so I love the sun. Take a moment to press your palms together. And this will wake up the muscles of your arms. Good. Inhale, sweep those arms up, gather in that energy. Exhaling, reaching back. Breathing back to mountain. And now open your arms and fold forward. Let all the breath go. Palms to knees, come up halfway. Exhale and fold. Let the breath go. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhaling, reaching back. Take a breath in and draw it back to your heart. Let's do one more of those. Inhaling, sweeping up. Exhale, letting go. Breathing back to mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Let as much breath go as you can. Good. Come up halfway, palms to knees. Exhale and fold. Let it all go. And on an inhale, now sweep the arms up. And reach it back on an exhale. Breathing it back to mountain and exhale into your heart. And just pause. Notice what you feel, where you feel it. Remember, this is your practice, 100%. So I'm going to march in place. And this feels really good with the shoes off. So if I were outside marching along, I'd probably be wearing a mask. But since I'm safe at home, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to pump my arms, just like you would if you were walking. And there's another challenge here. You can join me. You can keep with the arm pump if you like, or you can bring your knee up to your opposite elbow on an exhale. And we're going to blow the breath out as we do that. Here we go. So maybe the knee will come all the way up. Maybe it won't, and that's fine. Blow the breath out. So we're working the abdominal muscles, the core muscles. And the very next time that your right knee comes up, we're going to hold it. So you can hold on behind the thigh. You can use your yoga tie behind your thigh, or you can interlace your fingers just below the knee. Make sure your left foot is flat on the floor. Relax your shoulders, find your breath. And I'm going to circle my ankle. Just draw big old circles. So I'm just moving the foot and the ankle. Great, and let's go in the other direction. So now let's stretch that leg out. Again, you can use your yoga tie to hold the leg up around the foot or behind the thigh. You can just hold on. Or if you'd like more of a challenge, release your hands. Keep your torso nice and straight. Find your breath. Remember, you can come out of a pose anytime it starts to get too much. Good. Let's go into the figure 4 stretch from here. So your options are to cross ankles, to cross your knees, or to let that right foot rest on top of your left thigh. Take a minute to lengthen in your chair, pressing down on your knee, up on your foot. And you should begin to feel a really strong sensation in the upper outer part of your right thigh. That's where you want to feel it. If you want more sensation, just let your torso bend over the leg. Find your breath. Keep those shoulders soft. One breath at a time. And then inhale, let's come up. So before we go to the other side, I just want to mention that when we're holding a pose, notice where your thoughts go. It's very interesting to see what the mind does. Maybe you're thinking about, oh, how long are we going to stay here? Or, oh, I like this pose, or I don't like this pose. Try to just stay with the sensations and stay with the breath. Yoga is a wonderful practice of mindfulness through awareness of your body. So let's do the other side. I'm going to march a little further. Add the arms. And then add the challenge if you like. So I'm actually bringing the knee up to meet the elbow rather than folding forward. Letting the breath go, nice, vigorous sound, blowing it out. So the very next time that the left leg comes up, let that be your signal to pause and take a hold wherever is comfortable for you. Sitting up tall in your chair, relaxing your shoulders. We'll begin to circle the ankle on this side. Good, and let's go in the other direction. So how about we stretch the leg out? You can hold on, you can use your yoga tie, or you can release your arms. This is the most challenging. You can feel that big muscle in the front of your leg really working hard, getting stronger. Stay with your breath. And we'll move into the figure 4 stretch from here. Crossing ankles, knees, or placing that foot up on top of the right thigh. Making sure you're sitting tall to begin. Again, you're going to feel the sensation right back in here. This is the one that's so good for sciatica. Pressing down on the knee, up on the foot, and adding a little more intensity by leaning forward. Head relaxed. Shoulders relaxed. Let gravity do the work. Release the effort. And we'll release now on inhaled breath coming up and uncrossing. So we're going to do some twists again, but we're going to make them a little bit more energetic. So it's going to be a breath in and then a ha, and then a ha. So we'll go fairly quickly. If you should tire, you just feel free to stop and just breathe normally. So here we go. Breathe in, lift. Exhale, ha. Breathe in to the left. Breathe in to the right. Ha. Breathe in, let it go. 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 So this time when I go to the left, I'm just going to pause for a couple of breaths. And breathe in and twist and hold to the other side just for a few breaths. Good, and back to front. So we're going to come up to standing now and do some standing poses. Many of the poses have a seated alternative, so if you're more comfortable doing them seated, by all means, follow your own instincts in terms of what works for you. So we're going to come up to standing through chair pose. So I'm going to move my feet back. So they're slightly under the chair and the heels are up. The minute you start to stand, allow the heels to fall down. Okay, feet should be hip width apart, hands at the hips to begin. Breathe in on an exhale, engage your core, stand up part way. So there's a bend in the knees, shoulders are back, breath is steady. If you'd like to add some intensity, you can extend your arms forward or reach them up, nice and tall. And breathe. I'm going to bring my hands back to my hips and gently, partially rotate to the right. Knees are still bent. Breathe it back to center and rotate to the left. Knees are still bent. And then back to center. Straighten the legs. Ooh, it feels good to stand up and just shake them out. Makes for nice strong legs. Let's come to the side of our chair. So just reviewing a couple of suggestions about balancing work. If you're standing on one leg, you should always keep a little bit of bend in the knee. The knee should not be locked back. You want the muscles to do the work and not put the strain on the knee joint. The other suggestion is to focus on the exhale and imagine that you're pushing the feet down each time you exhale. Good. So I'm going to hold on to my chair and do a few heel raises. So inhale, lift up on your toes. Exhale, bring them down. Inhale, lift up and down. So just notice if you're keeping your weight focused right on the big toe side of the feet and down. Breathe up and bring it down. So let's shift weight to the right leg, which should be the leg closest to the chair. Again, a little bit of softness in that knee and begin to lift your left foot. So maybe it will come up a little or maybe more. It's entirely up to you. You can release the chair if you like. And your body will wiggle and jiggle. That's what it does. And let's come into tree pose. So I'm going to take that knee out to the side and choose a position that works for my foot. You can place the foot on the floor, or you can place it opposite your calf. Knee is drawn back. Build your branches, one arm or two, or you can continue to hold on to the chair with one hand. Again, if this doesn't work for your shoulders, let your arms open a little bit. Create some space. Let the shoulders drop down. Everybody's different. Nice deep breaths. One more breath, and then release the arms. Release the foot. So I'm going to do another version of tree that some people enjoy quite a bit. It's good because it allows you to open the hip and not worry so much about balance. So I'm going to take the leg closest to the chair and put it up on the seat of the chair. Notice how my left leg is still straight. I'm not leaning towards the chair. Take a minute to really draw that knee back and feel the hips open. You can continue to hold on to the chair as you build your branches, or you can release the chair and reach up. Remember, arms can separate if that helps you relax your shoulders a little bit more. Nice deep breaths. Good. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands, lower the foot, and take a breath. So let's step out. We're getting ready for triangle pose. I'm going to turn my right foot 90 degrees and the left foot in slightly, but my hips, rather than moving towards the chair, are going to be facing forward. So you can actually place your hands on your hips to remind them. Left arm reaches up, and we windmill to the side. Great. You can release your hand, stretch. Keep drawing the top shoulder back to open the front of the body. Nice deep breaths, pressing into the soles of your feet. We'll take one more breath here, and then inhale, bring it up. Let that left arm come down and release your right arm in a nice counter stretch. And bring it down. So we'll go into warrior two pose from here. So I'm going to keep my feet pretty much where they are, and I'm going to create a little bit of bend in that forward knee and allow my hips to rotate slightly to the right. Left arm, right arm sweeps up, left arm sweeps behind. So I'm gazing to the right and creating extension between my shoulder blades. You can always keep one hand on the chair if that feels more accessible to you. Good. Let's lower the arms, drop your left arm down, and do a little counter stretch with the right. Wonderful. We'll move into straight-legged runner stretch. So I'm going to turn my left foot so it's facing the chair, and my stance is a little bit more narrow than it was when I was doing triangle and warrior, but again, find a position that works for you. Both hips are facing the chair. The important thing with runner stretch is to let the bend come right from your hip creases. So in other words, you're extending out rather than bending. So think about that as you're doing it. On an exhale, reach your crown forward. You can place your hands on the chair. Make sure the knees stay soft. And for a little more balance work, you can bring your hands behind your back. And breathe. Good. And on an inhale, lift all the way up. Let the breath carry you up. And do a little counter stretch. And breathe it back to center. Step your feet together. Pause for a breath or two. And we'll go over to the other side. So I'm going to shift my weight now to my left leg, keeping that knee a little bit soft. Getting my balance, finding my breath, adjusting my gaze. You can hold on behind the thigh. You can also use your tie behind your thigh. You can release the chair or not. It's totally up to you. Make sure your breath is steady. And we'll move into tree pose from here so that outside knee swings open like a gate. And we rest the foot in a position that works. One hand or two for the branches. Again, adjust your arm position for one that works for your shoulders. If they're tight, you may want to just play around with separating the hands. And breathing. Great, returning the hands to center, releasing the foot. And we'll do that other version of the tree on this side as well. So I'm going to pick up the left foot, toes are turned out, and I can really focus on opening my hip here. Great. Create your branches. Whatever variation of arm position works for you, make sure that supporting knee is still a little bit flexible. Finding your breath. Finding something to love about the stretch. And noticing where your thoughts go. Breathe in and exhale, lower your hands. Gently lower your leg. And we'll set up for triangle. So a nice comfortable stance. Left foot turns towards the chair, right foot turns in slightly. Hips face forward. And the right arm stretches up long. Lots of length in the side body. Adjust your gaze so your neck feels safe. You can look up. You can look at the horizon. You can look at the floor. You can bring your left hand to the inside of the left leg if you don't need it for balance. And on an inhale, let's release that. Drop the arm down. Left arm sweeps up, counter stretch. And get ready for warrior two. So I'm going to adjust my feet slightly, bend that forward knee. And always there's a safety thing with bent knee. You don't want to have the knee come in front of the ankle. You want to have it stacked over the ankle so the knee joint is protected. Left arm sweeps up, right arm sweeps back, and we gaze to the left. Warrior two. And I'm going to drop my right arm down now and sweep the left arm up in a counter stretch. We also call this reverse warrior. Good, bring it back and we'll set up for straight-legged runner stretch. You may want to narrow your stance a little bit, separate your feet, hinging right at the hip crease. Lengthen out. Place your hands wherever is comfortable. And breathe. And on an inhale, come on up. Breathing up all the way. Nice counter stretch. And back to center, step your feet together. Okay, so our final pose is going to be a seated forward bend. A lot of people have difficulty with tight hamstrings, but they find a forward fold standing kind of challenging. So I'm going to show you a way to do it seated. I'm going to turn my chair sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm sitting up tall, my back is away from the back of the chair, and my feet are under my knees to begin with. This is the most gentle version of this stretch. I'm just going to ease myself forward. Hands to your hips. Inhale, come on up. Now that might be just enough, but if you want to move the stretch more up into the glutes, we're going to move the feet a little bit away. Taking a breath in and exhaling forward. So just notice how that feels. And then on an inhale, come up. So if you'd like still a deeper stretch, you can extend your feet even more. Just be mindful and don't slide off your chair. And begin to come forward. You'll notice this moves the stretch right up to the base of the glutes. You can hold on to the chair. You can bring your hands to the floor. Neck is relaxed. And inhale all the way up. So that's a nice version of a forward fold seated. So we're just going to sit for a minute before we begin our mindful eating practice. Just to let the physical part of the yoga settle, letting your eyes close. Tuning into the breath. And taking just a moment or two to notice how the practice has shifted your energy, what kinds of sensations are present in your body. If there's been any emotional shift, just notice. Breathing in and out, just relaxed. Nothing needs to be added or changed. Your practice was perfect, just the way it was. Maybe placing your hands one on top of another on your heart. Drawing your awareness to your heart center, where we hold love, joy, compassion, and also sadness and loss. It's also the center of healing in the body. So you may wish to extend that healing to some part of you that might need a little extra TLC. And then opening your eyes, you may want to extend your arms, extending your heart and your wishes for health and healing and peace in this troubled world we live in. Bringing your hands to prayer position. Namaste. So I'm going to get a hold of my raisin and come up closer to the screen so we can do our mindful eating practice. So hopefully you brought something small like this, okay? So just take a minute to take your little piece of food in the palm of your hand and begin to look at it. You can turn it around and examine its surface, its color. Eating is something that we do every day, and we don't pay attention necessarily to the process. So this is an opportunity to use something we do every day in a more mindful way. Maybe your food item has a little texture. Just notice what that is. And now bring your piece of food up to your nose. Just notice, does it have fragrance and odor? You can even hold it up to your ear. Maybe move it around. See if it makes any kind of noise, sound. And then take your food and place it in your mouth. Don't chew, just place it in your mouth and notice what happens. You might explore it a little with your tongue to see if that tells you any more about this. And now very gently bite down on the food in your mouth and begin to chew. Try just for a while not to swallow, just chew. And notice what happens. And then when your mouth can't contain it any longer, go ahead and swallow. And with your eyes closed, take a minute to imagine what is happening to that food right now. As it travels down into your stomach. And then ultimately, that piece of food becoming a piece of you, who you are. Imagine all the things that had to happen to bring that food to you. The work of nature, the work of human beings. Maybe take a moment of gratitude for having food to eat. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. And Hilary, if you would be good enough to open up the microphones, maybe we'll do a little sharing.
Hi, that was so great as always. Thanks, Judi. Yeah, I'm going to invite everybody. Please unmute yourself. Feel free to share. So I want to give people the opportunity to just unmute themselves.
Just anything that came up during that